Tonight on The Future of Everything, we've got 3i Atlas updates and maybe even our best shot yet to clearly see the third interstellar object.
Each pulse releases heat, then cools down, exactly like an engine or propulsion system, not a natural gas vent. And the particles in the tail don't behave like normal space dust either. They reflect sunlight differently, almost as if they're controlling the light. Could this be some kind of solar-powered technology or radiation-based steering system? And if that's true, who or what built it? In space, most things move randomly. But 3i/Atlas's journey through our solar system, there are discoveries that change what we know about the universe. And then there are those that make us question everything we thought was possible. What if I told you a single leaked image, captured in total secrecy, might be proof of something not natural, but engineered? Something that shouldn't even exist out there? The James Webb Space Telescope, famous for showing us the sharpest images of the cosmos, has reportedly captured something so mysterious, so unlike anything ever seen before, that NASA scientists were told to classify it immediately. But somehow, the truth slipped out. This isn't science fiction. This is 3i/Atlas, an interstellar visitor doing things no natural object should ever do, and what Webb just saw could confirm our greatest fears. Stay with me, because this mystery is only beginning. The image that has scientists talking around the world comes from a high-resolution infrared capture by the James Webb Telescope, and what it shows is chilling. 3i/Atlas, which was first thought to be a comet, is seen emitting a beam of light from the side facing the sun. Not scattered sunlight, not a solar flare, a focused, concentrated beam, cutting sharply through the darkness of space. Even more incredible, the image reveals perfect geometric patterns around the object's core, angles of 120 degrees, forming a near-perfect hexagon. That kind of precision doesn't exist in random space rocks. Some scientists from the European Southern Observatory quietly described it as mechanical in nature. Could this be a cosmic artifact, or are we witnessing technology that's far beyond anything nature could create? Whatever it is, it's breaking the rules and leaving astronomers completely stunned. Normally, a comet's tail always flows away from the sun, pushed by solar radiation. That's a basic rule of physics. Until now. 3i/Atlas has completely flipped that rule. Its tail flows toward the sun, something that shouldn't even be possible. At first, scientists thought it might be caused by strange dust jets or pressure differences, but computer models ruled that out because of how perfectly symmetrical the tail's movement was. Then came new Webb data. It showed that the tail emits energy in rhythmic bursts, synchronized with the object's 16-hour rotation cycle. TEM feels anything but random. It entered from above the solar plane, and then made a slingshot path around Mars, Venus, and Jupiter, almost exactly the same kind of route NASA uses for its own spacecraft to gain speed. Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb suggested it might be using gravity assists, like our Voyager probes do to save fuel. But here's the twist. This object isn't slowing down. It's speeding up. Its path is mathematically perfect for dropping off smaller probes or observation devices at multiple planets, all without changing direction. That kind of precision doesn't happen by accident. The chances of this path forming naturally? Less than 1 in a billion. As if things weren't strange enough, 3i/Atlas is about to vanish right behind the sun, exactly during the sun's most active and brightest phase. That's the one time when Earth's telescopes can't see anything behind it. It's almost as if this object wants to stay hidden. So here's the question. Why has there been no official statement from the U.S. Space Command, NASA, or any planetary defense agency? 3i/Atlas is the fastest and largest interstellar object ever recorded, and yet, complete silence. Reports say even the military is unusually quiet. Leaked documents from AARO, that's the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, suggest something shocking. The object is being used in live defense simulations for planetary threat scenarios. In simpler terms, this could be a test run, a rehearsal, but for what? Some defense experts believe that 3I/Atlas's incredible speed and unnatural flight pattern make it the perfect candidate for a reconnaissance probe, maybe even an autonomous scout from another civilization. And since no spacecraft on Earth could ever catch up, not at its insane 130,000 miles per hour, we're stuck in an observer's dilemma. All we can do is watch and wait. Behind closed doors, high-level meetings are reportedly being held, not just to discuss what 3I/Atlas is, but what to do if it sends a signal, or worse, if it changes course. When experts examined the leaked Webb image more closely, they found something even stranger, hidden near the glowing region of course, mainstream scientists laughed it off. But the pattern remains there, undeniable and unexplained. If that symbol is real, it points to one terrifying possibility. This object wasn't formed by nature, it was built, and someone, or something, left their mark on it, like an engineer's insignia, staring straight into the James Webb's lens. Then things took an even darker turn. As more observatories tried to capture their own data on 3I/Atlas, they began receiving cease and desist orders from government agencies. The official reason? Airspace protocol and civilian data security. Even private space companies with their own telescopes started reporting sudden system failures, network drops, revoked access to imaging databases, and mysterious API shutdowns. Around the same time, leaked diplomatic cables revealed that the United Nations Office for Outer Space Affairs had held an emergency closed-door meeting with delegates from the world's 5 biggest space powers, the US, Russia, China, India, and the European Union. The meeting's topic? Unidentified technological object of interstellar origin. After that meeting, those nations reportedly signed a joint silence protocol, agreeing that no information about the object would be made public unless all 5 countries approved it together. In other words, this isn't just about science anymore. This is a global power game, a quiet, high-stakes chess match over something cosmic. And when the world's most powerful nations suddenly stop arguing and start hiding information, one thing is clear: something enormous is being kept secret. But the strangest twist came next. The James Webb Space Telescope was scheduled to observe 3I/Atlas again just days after the leak. Then, the observation was canceled. Why? According to internal reports, Webb's autonomous tracking system refused to lock on. That's right. The telescope's AI, which automatically tracks any target in space, refused to align itself with 3I/Atlas. Engineers tried everything. Nothing worked. It was as if the telescope, a machine that's supposed to follow commands, simply chose not to. Nothing like this has ever happened before. Something strange just happened in the skies, and it's leaving even seasoned astronomers speechless. At least 3 amateur astronomers across different parts of the world reported seeing brief, erratic flashes in the area where 3I/Atlas was last spotted. But these weren't normal star flares. They were sharp, rhythmic bursts of light, almost like a camera flash, coming from the void itself. That's raised one haunting question. Could 3I/Atlas actually know it's being watched? Could it be capable of optical tricks, or even defensive countermeasures? What if this object doesn't just travel through space, but also watches us back? Now, here's where things get even more bizarre. The image that started this whole frenzy, the one showing Atlas in detail, wasn't supposed to exist. It wasn't part of any official observation schedule. It didn't come through NASA's usual systems. The metadata shows it came from a remote operations session, an automated diagnostic scan likely meant for calibration. That raises two huge questions. How did that image leak, and how many more images exist that we'll never see? Some believe a whistleblower inside the Webb program released it secretly, risking their career to alert the world. Others think it was a cyber hack, maybe even from a foreign power trying to weaponize the data. But the most chilling theory, that the leak wasn't human at all. That I/Atlas itself wanted to be seen. That the image was an invitation. Soon after the leak went public, deep space monitoring stations around the globe began to malfunction. Not just their data, but the hardware itself. Spectrometers stopped calibrating, gyroscopes drifted out of sync, and radio signals started bouncing unpredictably from the region where I/Atlas had last been seen. It wasn't ordinary interference. It was as if the very fabric of space around the object was unstable. Then came the satellite failures. One by one, small, low-orbit satellites, designed to monitor solar activity, went dark whenever they passed near the object's path. Engineers say it was like something near I/Atlas was absorbing energy, not emitting it, as if it wasn't just observing, but feeding. And then came the real shock. A small team of data analysts studying Webb's infrared scans found repeating patterns hidden in the returning signals. At first, they thought it was random noise, but when they converted it into binary, the pattern formed something stunning, a sequence that resembled RNA, the building blocks of life. This wasn't normal communication. It wasn't a message meant to be read. It was something deeper, a kind of information designed to be decoded biologically. So what exactly is I/Atlas? A probe? A warning? Or something much more? Scientists were already stunned when they discovered strange biological patterns in the data coming from I/Atlas. One researcher even described it as a biogenic algorithm, a kind of living code that, if recreated, could possibly trigger changes in organic matter. Some whispered it looked like an activation sequence. Others believed it might be a genetic blueprint, a catalyst waiting to awaken something. But the big question remains, a catalyst for what? Then, just as suddenly as it appeared, I/Atlas vanished. Tracking stations around the world watched in disbelief as the object made a sharp, impossible turn, one that would require propulsion far beyond anything we know. And then, it disappeared. No heat trail, no radiation, no trace, nothing. Some astronomers think it moved behind the sun, hiding where telescopes can't reach. Others believe it activated some kind of cloaking mechanism, but one thing's certain, we weren't in control anymore. Right before it vanished, one final light pulse was recorded, 13 perfectly timed flashes, a pattern eerily similar to Morse code, but when decoded, no language fit. Then a linguist suggested something chilling. Maybe it wasn't a message at all. Maybe it was a countdown. As debates raged, an anonymous leak on a dark web forum exposed something far more alarming. According to the files, allegedly pulled from NASA's own servers, I/Atlas wasn't the first of its kind. It was the third. The first two, you've heard of them. Oumuamua and Borisov both showed similar anomalies, both dismissed as coincidences. But now, the leaked documents revealed a terrifying pattern. Each object arrived exactly 6 years apart, entered our solar system, then vanished the same way. And across multiple classified pages, one phrase appeared again and again, highlighted in red: contact phase imminent. This wasn't random. It was a sequence, a mission. And I/Atlas wasn't the end. It was the signal that something else is coming. When experts analyzed those 13 light pulses more closely, they found something mind-bending. The data behaved like software, self-learning, self-replicating, alive. It wasn't written in any known coding language, but it functioned like one. Some called it recursive logic. Others said it was self-modifying light. In simple terms, it acted like a form of living intelligence, not a probe, not a ship, but a thinking entity made of light itself, using radiation as its way to process information, a consciousness encoded across space, and now it seems it has turned its focus directly toward Earth. Just days later, a small radio telescope in Namibia, part of the International Deep Space Array, detected a strange burst of microwave energy. The timing matched perfectly with the moment 3I/Atlas disappeared. Whatever it wasn't random. It was precise, targeted, and it came from the exact direction where 3I/Atlas used to be. The latest signal detected had all the hallmarks of intentional communication: narrowband, hopping frequencies, and precise modulation. But here's the twist. It wasn't aimed at Earth. Instead, it came from near-Earth orbit and pointed outward, straight toward the exact location where 3I/Atlas had last been tracked. Analysis revealed fragments of Earth-based communication embedded in the signal, things like packet headers, handshake protocols, even traces from military satellites. In other words, someone on Earth had responded. Who? A private group, a rogue agency, or a secret global alliance? No one knows. But one thing is clear. This wasn't the first contact, it was the second. And the entire exchange had been kept secret from the public. After this, strange phenomena began appearing quietly around the world. Bioluminescent organisms in the deep ocean started behaving oddly, flashing unusual light patterns and moving in rhythmic pulses never seen before. Astronomers noticed subtle anomalies in Earth's ionosphere, as if responding to distant solar emissions, only the sun hadn't changed. Even high-altitude plants began shifting their natural circadian rhythms. 3 separate bioscience labs confirmed the same conclusion. Biological systems were reacting to an unknown environmental influence. Could this be a side effect of 3I/Atlas passing through the solar system? Or something more unsettling, a hidden signal now resonating through Earth's magnetic field, slowly altering biology itself? It raises a chilling thought. What if the leaked image wasn't just something we saw, but something that saw into us? Then came another shocking revelation. Astrophysicists plotted the paths of 1I/Oumuamua, 2I/Borisov, and 3I/Atlas together. What they found was staggering. These objects didn't just arrive from random directions. They entered in a sequential arc, each one going deeper into the inner solar system than the last. When mapped in 3D space, their paths formed a perfect spiral aimed directly at Earth's orbital path. This wasn't random, it was targeting, or worse, mapping. Some experts now fear these aren't individual isolated objects. They could be part of a larger system of probes designed to pinpoint Earth's location over time. And if the pattern continues, the next object, 4I, might not just pass through the outer solar system. This time, it might stay. Using quantum AI, astrophysicists and data artists reconstructed a 3D model of 3I/Atlas from Webb's spectral data. What they discovered didn't look like a spacecraft or a celestial rock. It looked like a mathematical paradox. Zooming in, its surface revealed fractal geometry, patterns repeating endlessly, smaller and smaller, infinitely. Every edge, every angle, every node was a microcosm of the whole structure. And when these fractals were converted into waveforms, something even stranger emerged. The patterns mirrored human brain activity during creative insight and REM sleep. In simpler terms, the structure of 3I/Atlas functions like a brain. Not a human brain, but one that may have been designed to understand, simulate, or even influence consciousness itself. A strange file briefly appeared on the open access server of a European research institute, and then vanished without explanation. It contained audio converted from electromagnetic waves collected by the James Webb telescope during its last scan of 3I/Atlas. Scientists expected static noise. What they got instead was something far stranger, a low rhythmic pulse layered with higher frequency tones, repeating with eerie precision. When analyzed, the waveform matched human brainwave frequencies seen during deep dream states. But here's the chilling part. Multiple scientists who listened to the audio reported having identical dreams. Visions of spirals collapsing into darkness, an eye made of light, and a mysterious presence. Not words, not a message. Thoughts were being implanted directly into the mind. Many now believe the sound wasn't meant to be heard. It was meant to awaken something inside us. Then something happened that should have been impossible. During a routine calibration, the James Webb telescope tried to lock onto the region where 3I/Atlas had last been seen, but instead of a normal scan, the telescope activated a silent override. This undocumented override changed its tracking system and rerouted its data to an unknown IP node. For 47 seconds, the telescope operated independently, aiming at nothing, transmitting in silence, before returning to normal. There are discoveries that challenge our understanding of the universe. And then, there are those that shake the very foundation of what we thought was possible. What if I told you that a single leaked image, captured in total secrecy, could show evidence of something not just unnatural, but engineered? Something that shouldn't exist. The James Webb Space Telescope, famous for giving humanity the clearest pictures of the cosmos, has just revealed an image of an object so mysterious, so unlike anything recorded, that NASA scientists reportedly wanted it classified immediately. But the truth slipped through anyway. This isn't science fiction. This is 3I/Atlas, a visitor from beyond our solar system, performing things no natural object should be able to do. And what the James Webb telescope captured could confirm our deepest fears. Stay with me, because this cosmic enigma is just beginning to unfold. 3I/Atlas is the fastest and largest interstellar object ever detected, and the silence is deafening.